Hello from Canada or wherever you may be. Today I'm going to be showing you the steps necessary so that you can take your money from one of these big five Canadian banks and put it on an exchange and end up with Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other digital asset. So just as a heads up, this guide is intended for beginners with people with limited experience of exchange. I'm going to be taking things slow, going in a step-by-step way, and I'm going to be putting even more details in the description below. So I'm going to walk you through the whole process of setting up an account, getting verified, and getting funded. The whole process is a little lengthy, so my best advice is start. Everything takes time because it's a little bit of paperwork, but I think that if you start everything on a Saturday or Sunday, it would be realistic to expect to be done the whole process by next Friday. So in Canada, I think the best exchange to use is QuadrigaCX. I by no means have any relation to them. I've used a few and I think it's the safest. I think it has the best compatibility with Canadian banks. You're actually able to just set them up as an email transfer. Obviously the liquidity isn't big. They have $1 million trading volume, so that puts them quite low on the list of all the exchanges right here at number 34. They're still safe, they're very responsive if you want to talk to them, and especially as a beginner, I believe it's a great on-ramp if you just want to get currency. And if you are interested in margin trading, you could transfer your money to Kraken or Gemini or another exchange, or if you just wanted another digital asset, you could use Shapeshifter, hopefully, which I'll get into in other videos. So setting up an account is just like anything. You go to the home page, hit the register now button. It's going to ask you for some information. I sort of think that's part of the game. I mean, I love securing my information, keeping it safe, but at the same time, I think that if you want to play the game, it's sort of something that you have to accept. Sometimes it's not ideal, but I do think it's part of it, and unfortunately, it's something you have to comply with, especially if you want to have an easy experience. Obviously, do your own due diligence before just putting your information out anywhere. Obviously, I've done it, so you can see what I've concluded about Quadriga. It'll also ask you to make a strong password. This is highly recommended. I suggest using a password manager, getting a strong password. It'll also ask you if you want to use two-factor authentication. So what that's going to allow you to do is basically have a second password that you'll only have access to on your phone, and you can actually set it up so that it's changing every minute or every 30 seconds so that you always have a brand new password. So even if someone saw that your password was 5249998 at the beginning, in a minute or 2 minutes, that's going to be a different password. So knowing what your password was a day ago has no bearing on what your password is right now. So it's a really cool app. I definitely recommend it for added security. So once you do that, you're going to be done the first step, which is setting up an account. So next you're going to want to go into the getting verified section. So this you do from your Quadriga account. I've actually already completed it, so it shows my status is complete. It's basically two parts. The first one is the Equifax. That's one of those Canadian companies. They offer loans to different people. They're offering free credit reports for a little bit. They'll ask you for your SIN number, some information about your bank account, some information maybe about some investments you've made. That should just be a few minutes to walk through, especially if you have that sort of information readily available. The ID and address verification, on the other hand, is a little bit more cumbersome on your part. You have to take a few pictures. My pictures definitely weren't great. Just took them on my phone and they worked fine. But you send those in, and that's sort of what's going to be the big log jam in the system if there is one. For me, it took 2 or 3 days. I actually got a phone call. I was able to talk to a representative. It was a nice little touch. But after this, and after you submit your bank papers, typically 1 to 3 days, as you see there. But once you complete both these things, you're going to be funded, and you're going to be able to go into the last part, or you're going to be verified, sorry. So you're going to be able to go into the last stage, which is actually getting funded. So here we go into the last part, which is account funding. They give you a lot of options. And I mean, if you actually don't want to get verified, you can go through some other options here. I don't actually remember what they have. Oh, so they actually show you. So you can do a bank draft, money order. Basically, those are your only two options if you don't get verification. So my recommendation is doing a direct bank transfer. It's 1%, or sorry, an Interact e-transfer. It's a 1% fee. It's a new service they have. I think it's really good. You can do up to $3,000 a day, which for me and I think others is definitely plenty. But it takes about 1 day. It's really easy. You just set them up as a payee on your account, and then you go into the select button here, and you have to fill out a little bit more information about just what bank it's coming from and how much money you actually sent. So after you do that, you'll be able to get your hands on some real Bitcoin or some real Ethereum, which is really exciting for a lot of people. I'm not here to preach the technology at all, but in this video I just wanted to give people a sense that if you were interested, just a quick rundown of how I did it and how I got myself some Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let me know if you have any questions. Cheers.